What's up everybody, welcome to the video. In this video we're going to be fixing high CPU utilization, GPU utilization, and also setting up 4K settings in 2023. And I could not find a single video that fixed my issue. Everyone was doing like power thing and then video control panel, run as administrator. Yeah, that stuff kind of worked, but it didn't do anything for me at least. So in this video I'm going to show you guys how to set everything up properly, because there's one thing that a lot of these older videos or these past videos did not go over with. And that's what we're going to do here, folks. So sit back, relax, and enjoy this video here as we dive into OBS. We're going to go ahead and I'm going to explain what things you need to get this thing going. So here we go. We have a little display capture. I wonder if that'll actually fix itself on here, because we have a ton of stuff coming up on here. As you guys can see, we got that started up here. Okay, so bottom left corner, I don't know if you guys can see that here. Let's see if we can shrink that here a little bit. It'll be easier to see. So bottom left corner here, next to the sources, what you want to do is essentially make sure you have the right source. So my biggest issue that I was having when I was experiencing high CPU and GPU utilization, regardless of all the other fixes that I did, and regardless of my settings for the stream, it was just crashing my games. The stream wasn't smooth at all. Everything was just terrible, right? So the biggest thing that you want to do, there's two different ones. When you add a source, do not do the display capture unless you're doing things like this where you're showing off a program or anything on sort of multiple applications. You just want to show the monitor. And that is where we're experiencing, like right here on this right section here, we're experiencing that high GPU utilization. We're not playing the game right now, or at least the settings aren't, set up that way right now, so you aren't seeing any high CPU utilization here. So the GPU utilization will trigger itself. You're doing display capture. So once I did switch over and I removed the display capture, because I didn't need it as one of my sources, I just went to game capture. We're going to do another one here just to show you guys. So do game capture. You can remove the cursor. I just removed everything there. You can leave everything else in fine. And you don't have to touch it. It won't affect your stream at all. You just want to do that. And that's pretty much it. So that's what you do. And when you stream, you'll fix all your GPU, CPU utilization issues and/or crashing and stutters. It's just because of the source that you use. Can you believe that? So it's game capture. Do this one. Capture any full screen application, right? You want to remove all that. And then that's that. Now, you're wondering, well, what about all these other things here? Window capture, you can capture a specific window. This is pretty cool, so I can target my task manager window, Logitech, my Logitech Hub, and my video podcast. You guys are wondering what audio stuff I use. But we're going to remove that here, and that's how you pretty much set this first portion up properly. No one did that. No one showed that anywhere in their video. So make sure you have game capture and not display capture. So now we're moving on to the juicy stuff, the actual stuff that matters. So we're going to go ahead and shrink. Let's move OBS away here for a second. Okay, and then we're going to bring down the settings right here. We're going to make it bigger. Okay, so biggest thing here is, in general, you can do whatever you want. Really not much that you have to do. Biggest portion here is video, right? My settings are down below. I have an RTX 3080, 64 gigs of RAM, 5900X, and I used to use Shadowplay. Now I'm using OBS, and audio and everything like that is just way better here than Shadowplay. I haven't used anything else. You guys can see in the previous videos how I utilize Shadowplay there. Like you can't do 4K. You're only stuck at 1440p or 1080p depending on what setup you have. You can record games in 4K obviously, but the streaming portion is where I was mostly after, since that is how my videos are set up. So here we go. So your resolution, stuff like that, you can change it. Since we are using the video output right now, your base canvas is going to be your main target screen. So I want to do 4K, or let's say you have a 2K monitor, you want to output scale that thing. You can do the, there's a downscale filter, and you want to use the very last one. And then of course have this stuff set up right here. Now that's going to be of course set up based off of what you want to do. This is my 4K settings here based off my 3080, RTX 3080. And then we're going to go ahead and go over to the stream center. I have it at YouTube RTMPS. The server, you want to do the legacy ingest server. So you want to use that primary one. And then I have, of course, everything else here set up. Ignore the settings because you're going to see why, the bitrate and things like that. So here we go. So when you first open up OBS, it's going to be simple. You want to change it to advanced. And we're going to go ahead and start here with the streaming stuff. Audio encoder, delay C. And then this is very important right here. Video encoder is going to be NVIDIA NVENC H.264. Now other people who are on like 4090s or newer GPUs or something like that, older GPUs are going to see parentheses new. In my case, I haven't seen that. Don't have any other GPUs I can test this thing on. But this is what you want to select as H.264. Now, X264 will utilize your CPU for the encoder, which I did test out last night. It worked out just fine because I was, GPU and CPU, that was where I was experiencing high utilization on both ends, but that is where I experienced that. This so far, H.264 is going to be the best. You have a 4090, 24 gigs, my card is a 10 gig. So you can also see the utilization here being at 98%. So we're going to play around with this. I haven't done X264 yet, so we may end up switching over to that if we experience any other crashes, but as of right now, H.264 is going to be the best one you can use. Other people use it on the 2000 series cards. The recommended stuff right now is 3000 series cards. Uncheck rescale output, and then your rate control is going to be CBR. You're going to want that. Now your bitrate is going to be dependent on you. When I was streaming to YouTube, I was actually getting a flagged notification on my stream saying that I can actually bump my bitrate up to 23,000. And I did do an internet test speed run for my uploads and downloads. The rule is usually you want to cut it in half, and that is what your KBS or your bitrate would be. So if, let's say your down or up speed is like 15, you want to do half of that, so 7.5. So you would put 7,500 here. Right, so that's what you would put down. Keyframe interval is going to be 2 for 4K, and here preset we're going to do, I just left it at slow, good quality. Haven't done anything here just because I don't have, pretty high-end GPU. 3080 is still pretty good, so haven't experienced anything crazy there. Tuning the latency. Multipass mode, you can definitely play around with this, but single pass for me has worked just fine. Profile, leave it on high. Max B-frames 2, uncheck and keep cycle visual tuning checked. So now we're going to go ahead and do the audio. Audio bitrate is going to be at 128. Top track, that's where you want to be at for that one. That's going to be for your mic and stuff set up here, right? So Yeti Classic, that's what I'm using here right now. Stereo, 48 kilohertz there. Now, that's pretty much it that I use on my setting. Like I said, right now you guys can see in this video with me utilizing the desktop display setting. So let's go back down here. with me utilizing the capture at the display capture versus the game capture, this is what I am getting right here. And it gets even worse when I run a game because then CPU utilization jumps up to like 100%. Game stutters, programs crash, things of that sort. Not good quality stream at all. So here we are. Here you can check this out. It's pretty sweet on how this whole thing works. So yeah, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope you guys found it helpful. Again, remember, game capture. Game capture is gonna be the biggest thing. Make sure you have that as a source first before you think that the computer you just built is not adequate enough. It is adequate enough. People have been using OBS for a while. And again, let's go back to the settings here really quick. I want to show you guys here. For the 2K and the 1080p stuff, you just want to change your base canvas and your output to the same ratio to keep it at 16:9. So if you want to do a 1080 stream or 1440 2K stream, that's what you want to do is just match your sources, keep it at 60 FPS. 60 FPS is going to be great for high-paced games, and in general, just that's what everybody loves to watch unless you do some cinematic and you want to record it, but 30 frames is a whole different level. But if you guys found this video helpful, let me know if you guys want to see a Twitch setup. This is going to be your best setup for YouTube. Other than that, guys, I really do appreciate you guys stopping in here today. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and hit that notification bell, of course, to get notified of any new videos and streams and any new gaming stuff. Let me know down below in the comments. Thank you guys so much for joining in today. We'll see.
Alright, what is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back into another video. Today's video, I wanted to help you fellow streamers here to have a tool that will probably change the way you make content of Dead by Daylight, which is right here. And then we also have the little alerts or events or whatever you want to talk about, and even have stuff like this, for example, like notifications. Now, imagine the following. You can potentially be streaming and then press the start recording button at the same time. But unfortunately for you, you'll have the camera or animated avatar, whatever you have, your alerts or events, little goals, everything. Everything will be on your screen. Now, some people might not care, but the thing is, some people also wanted the gameplay completely clean of anything else that might be on top. And I know what you're thinking, hey Creepers, but I want to record it in horizontal. Don't worry about it, we'll get to that part. That's the beauty of this. Press to download the plugin. Make sure it's not for Linux, as I was about to mess this up by accident. You can just go to the website of atem.tv. They also have the paid version of their entire setup with bots and multi-streaming tools and a bunch of other things that you can check out. But this plugin specifically is actually free. It is a free plugin for vertical. Go there, vertical scenes, vertical sources, vertical. And this is what we're going to need. You're going to select all three of them, and we'll put them in place in just a second here. For example, let's grab the vertical and put it up here on the side. If it wants to come out, oh yeah, I need to grab it there, sorry. Let's give it the stats. We don't really need this. And as for vertical scenes, let's put them on top of scenes. So you can just then toggle between one and the other. Vertical sources will go on top of sources. So now we have here this little setup. You'll have these little tabs. This will be the original, the scenes from your normal scenes. You'll have your normal sources as well to control this window. And this one here, as you can see, is already laying down. That's because I already changed something, and that's what we're going to do right now. You can press this little cogwheel there with settings, and I want you to switch on that. I'm going to give you a download the VOD specific folder with the vertical plugin deck, so I can very good. You can also put this into a folder specifically where you want the clips to go. In this case, I have it here for a video that I'm planning on doing, and I'm sending them all over there. And that's like how much time I want it. It'll be on. All right, if it's not on, you can go. In this case, I have it here for a video that I'm planning on doing, and I'm sending them all over there. And that's like how much time I want it. It'll be on. All right, if it's not on, you can turn it on by yourself. There's an option that will always be on, and then you just press a button, keybind that you selected over here. So once you click it, boom, the last 45 seconds of whatever shows up in there will be recorded. So let's set it up so it's easier for you. Now, do understand that these are not going to work 100% like these two, the normal ones from OBS, because unfortunately there's some stuff missing. I'll talk about what exactly are the differences. But let's go, for example, here for game capture, because that's what we have there. Let's go here and, for example, transform, stretch the screen, because if it's a window that you press like F11 and the window like goes smaller when you get out and so on, this will also happen there. So if you stretch the screen, it will always maintain that ratio and never actually lose its form. Now, however, you might want to record your camera, but just in separate. I got a tip for you. So what you're gonna do is you want to go to Google and you want to search for green screen. Just a picture, a green picture, completely green, and just download it. And what is that for? Because for Sony Vegas or even Adobe Premiere, whatever you want to call it, you might want to still get, you know, a little bit of that power to be able to separate the camera and move it around however you want, right? And with this, you can't. So let's just straight down the game here. I'm holding the shift button so it maintains its ratio, because I press the stretch button, the stretch transform option, it would immediately like deform it. So we're gonna put it up here, just a little corner there, and on down there, we're gonna put the camera. And so I'm gonna add here the video capture device, and it's the one that we're using there, the cat, right? We're gonna put it down to the corner over there and just make it smaller, right? Let's just see if I can grab this over here, and boom, now it's smaller there, and that's more than enough. Let's just again grab the shift and stretch this out a little bit. And on the back of all of this, let's put something just for how do you remove that black part there, because if you try to use like the black chroma key, it's gonna have a bit of an issue. So I'm just gonna grab the image, you search whatever the place is that you have that picture, the green picture that I said, the green screen picture that I said. Oops, grab something else. And once you're there, grab that green screen picture, stretch it up all the way to the max. And what you want to do, now that it's covering everything up, you want to go here and you want to go order, move down. This is the part that I was trying to say, because like if you try to drag it like a normal OBS, it won't work. So this is the way to do it. Just order, move to the bottom in this case, and boom, automatically now I have a green screen. Now if you have a like immediately like a rectangle camera and you don't have any sort of green screen, you still see the background of your room and so on, you can skip this entire step. Just make sure that the camera's over there and the gameplay's over there, so that when you go to Sony Vegas or Premiere or whatever, you can then just duplicate the video source, right? And the gameplay, you can just stretch it to the 1080p. You can lose a little bit because you're stretching it out this section there, but it's still the closest you can get as to the name quality while having your camera separate. And then you have the camera, use it again, crop this entire section over there, and just have the camera ready for you. And all you need to do now is either press the button to record or click the little key button.
I do a live stream every Saturday night where I answer your questions about live streaming. And I get a lot of questions about lag, bad audio, choppy frames, choppy streams, things like this. So today I want to show you how to troubleshoot what's going wrong on your stream and walk you through some steps on how you can fix it. So let's get to it. If you're always looking for tools, tips, and tricks to help make you a better YouTuber, subscribe to the channel and click that bell so you don't miss any new content. There is nothing more frustrating when you're live streaming than getting buffering or drop frames or choppy audio, things like that. But a lot of people have no idea how to figure out what's actually causing the problem. After you watch this video, you're going to know what's causing the problem, and you're going to have a pretty good idea of whether you can fix it or not. So let's jump right into OBS and get started. Before we get started, we need to give you a way to actually visually see what is going on with your live stream. And so to do this, we're going to go up to View, and we're going to select Docs, and we want the Stats doc. Sometimes this Stats doc, when it first appears, is just going to be a window over top of your OBS. You can just drag it and drop it into any location on your screen. I usually like to have mine above my image. Once we have this up here, this is going to tell us exactly what's going wrong with our stream. Here we are in OBS. If you've seen my live streams, you recognize this is my same overlay that I always use. I broadcast in 1920 by 1080, so that is the settings that I have right now. Let's go live and see what happens with just my standard overlay setup. You can see right off the bat, if I sway from side to side with my camera, we're already getting some encoding lagging. That means that frames are being dropped on my live stream. So how do you know whether it's a connection problem or a computer problem? Well, that one's really easy to troubleshoot. If you look down here in the bottom right-hand corner, you see it's green. I'm producing at a specific bit rate, and we're not dropping any frames. That tells me that my actual connection to the internet is capable of sustaining the output that I'm giving it. On the other hand, you can see when I scroll up and look at my stats, I'm getting frames lag due to encoding and frames lag due to rendering. The encoding is specifically a measurement of how fast your machine can take the image that you're producing and send it out to the live stream. Rendering is specifically the way that your machine actually creates the image that you're going to be sending out. So we're looking basically at the input and the output side of the stream. One of the pieces is putting the image together, the other piece is encoding that image to send it out. Just swaying side to side obviously gives us some encoding problems right off the bat. My Mac is not able to encode this stream fast enough to stream at 30 frames per second. And we see right off the bat that it's definitely not a problem with our internet connection. It's a problem with the actual computer. And you can also verify that your connection is good by flipping over to YouTube, and it tells me I have an excellent connection on this stream. I can make it miss a lot more frames and render lag and have all kinds of skippy audio and everything else just by kicking off one of these widgets here in Streamlabs. Then I flip back over to OBS quickly, and we can see those widgets coming across the screen. And when I use my standard stinger, which is just a pretty simple door close, it's a really small file, well, that causes all kinds of choppiness and problems. And if you look up here, we're still lagging and dropping frames due to encoding and render lag all the time. Obviously, this is going to be garbage on a live stream. We're going to have choppy audio, choppy video. It's probably going to look and sound terrible. So now I'm going to stop streaming, and we're going to go in, and we're going to see what we can do to possibly fix this and make it easier for the machine to encode this stream. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to change our encoding preset. That's the CPU usage under the output tab in the settings. Right now we have it set to very fast. We're going to set it to its maximum speed. That is ultra fast. Now, this will negatively affect the quality of your image, for sure. There's no way around that. But if your machine is able to encode fast enough, you're going to do better with a really fast encoding speed than you will with choppy audio and choppy video. So if we can avoid choppy audio and choppy video just by changing this encoding speed, awesome. The picture won't be quite as crisp, but we can live with that if we're still producing a high quality stream. So we'll apply that, and we're going to go back and we're going to start our stream again, and let's see what we get. You can see right off the bat, we're not dropping frames. When I sway side to side, it seems to be basically keeping up with everything we're doing. We're not getting the encoder error message down in the bottom left-hand corner anymore. So you might think, wow, that's awesome. The problem is solved. Well, let's hold on a second. I'm going to flip over to Streamlabs and kick off some of these widgets, and let's see what happens. And you can see as soon as I kick off some of these widgets, we're getting drop frames due to render lag, and that's nothing too serious. So let's try the stinger. And you can see every time I run this stinger, my frames drop to well below 30 frames per second, and we're getting some render lagging again, which basically tells us that the computer is still not keeping up. Now, I know that you're looking at it and you see the frames come and they're a little bit choppy, but maybe that's livable. The problem is that the audio is also choppy. So let's try something else. We're going to stop this stream, and we're going to go back into settings. And this time we're going to go to video. And I'm going to change my output scaled resolution to 720. What that means is we're no longer going to be streaming in 1920 by 1080. Our output is going to be in 720. We'll click apply, and we're going to start the stream again. Now that I set the output to 720, you can see when I rock back and forth, we're not losing any frames or anything like that, so that's good. But when we go and we use our stinger, the door close, there's all kinds of choppiness still happening here. And if we kick off some of these widgets and we take a look, they also seem to be kind of on the choppy side. Now, if you think about it, this actually makes a lot of sense. Changing our output settings actually makes the machine kind of work a little bit harder. And the reason why this is because we didn't actually change our canvas size. Our canvas size is still 1080. So basically what that means is the machine is still rendering the frames at 1920 by 1080. And then the encoder is downscaling those frames to 720 to output to the stream. So we're actually causing more work. So when you decide you're going to downscale, you kind of got to go the entire way. You're going to have to downscale your canvas. And I would take it a step further. You should probably do what I did. I went back into my overlay and exported it at 720, and I also resized my stinger to 720. You want to have as much of the stuff that's included in your stream in the native resolution as you possibly can. So let's go ahead and change it over so that the canvas is in 720, and we use those 720 assets, and let's see what happens. Changing everything over to 720 is a little bit of a process, so we're going to go into settings, and then we're going to go to video. Now we're going to change our canvas size to 720. We're going to click OK, and you can see everything now is missized, which sucks. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab my overlay here, I'm going to go and I'm going to change the file to that 720 file, and there we go. That's going to fit perfectly into the 720 screen. Now I have to just resize my video, and I'm going to resize my widgets here so they fit properly on the screen. And I'm going to go ahead and change that stinger to the 721 that I did, and we'll switch scenes back and forth. You can see my weight screen is now way out of proportion. So I'm going to go ahead and resize all the objects in the weight screen as well. Now for this I didn't re-render it because there's really not much else going on, but I probably should have went and re-rendered the weight screen animation as well. So now everything seems to be working right. Let's see what happens when we actually go live. And I rock back and forth, move my hands across the screen. We're not seeming to have any problems. If I go ahead and I change scenes, the stinger works smoothly. We're not dropping any frames. There's no lag, no nothing. So this seems like it might have actually resolved our streaming problems. Now that's pretty sweet. Let's see what happens when we add a widget. No problem. Big thumbs up there for sure. And if I go into YouTube Studio, I can see the stream is all...
Bye.